Hello gentlemen, welcome back to the lab, and today we have a big mailbag. It's the things I had received by mail and some things that I had bought myself. So let's get right into the video and I'll show you all the new things I got. So the first item is this ruler, and this is really my disappointment. I'm really not happy with this purchase, since first of all, there's no silk screen on here, so nothing is labeled. This side is at least has some labels for the chips and all that, but this side I would like to have all of the different packages labeled, and scale on the ruler would be nice. Yeah, so it's okay for general use, but not for the lab. Okay, second thing is boxes. I have 5 of these big boxes, and while we show the boxes, I also have 5 of these black boxes I use for my videos. So like a voltmeter, amp meter, and also same box I used for the arc lighter. There we go. Arc lighter, same thing. So pretty much these boxes are exactly the same, nothing there. So I'm just gonna put them aside so you know I have them. And the next thing is these 5 boxes here. These are white boxes. They did not have any black ones. If they did, I would bought the black ones, right? But no, so they're much bigger, and it will fit quite a lot of things inside, like a big circuit board or whatever. If you're wondering, this is the size comparison, so quite a bit bigger in this way and higher in that way. So pretty good boxes. I'm quite happy with this, so let's put that aside. Next thing is carbon rods. So I bought some carbon rods off eBay for my high voltage power supply. As you can see, I believe this is 8mm carbon rod, quite big. You can get them off batteries, carbon zinc batteries, but I decided to save some time and bought these. Well, they ended up arriving in 2.5 months. Did I save time? No. So, don't be cheap. Okay, next item is these knobs. Now, what you will see is that I have a similar knob on a power supply. So these are the same knobs, just black. That's actually quite cool. Same exact knob, same height, same width, same finish, just black. That looks quite a bit nicer on black boxes. Now these can go for white or vice versa, whatever, but these black ones are really cool and I quite like it. So next, I bought these alligator clips and whatnot set in a local store. It was $10. Was it money worthy? Probably no, but I needed some alligator clips ASAP, so I had to do something about it. So I bought a full bag and I ended up using some of them. This is all that's left. And I also bought these. I don't remember what price they were, but pretty much these are alligator clips. They're really good, but they have this plastic on here, so we have to cut it off and then you can solder it. Works pretty well, actually. I'm quite pleased with 2 of these sets. Next is something I bought in the same store as alligator clips, and this is Teflon or whatever. plastic to wrap your wires or cables. Really cool stuff. I don't know, this is 5 meters or so of it. I don't remember, it could be 3, but it was cheap. It was like $2. I mean, you can't resist. So I just bought that and have it around if I need to wrap any cables. So the next thing that I would like to show you is something really cool. So essentially we have a voltmeter. Now I do order a lot of voltmeters, and I just use them everywhere. I mean, they are so versatile devices. So I use these meters for a whole variety of projects, and just like I showed you before, this amp meter is this exact one is what I use. Now the problem is you can buy a 2 wire once, so you have your positive and a negative, and it's tapping the positive there so you can measure the voltage. So the problem is you do not have this sense wire, which means you cannot measure a voltage drop across a resistor or whatever, and this is how this thing is working. So pretty much, anything under, if you have this two lead voltmeter, you cannot measure anything under 3 volts, since you simply won't be able to see it on the screen unless you have a boost converter that will up the voltage. But then the problem becomes you're going to be measuring the voltage of a boost converter. So the 2 lead ones aren't really practical. If you can, buy a 3 lead one so you can measure any voltage you want. Also, another problem with these is they cannot measure negative voltage. So if you're gonna be doing something that you want to measure positive and negative voltage, you won't be able to do that because you have to have a split rail power supply, so you can power both at the same time. One will be able to measure positive, the other one will be able to measure negative. So that is that. So the next items are these nice hook things, and these are actually really nice. So these are pretty cheap. I think they were $1.50 or $2, something like that, for 3 red, 3 black. So essentially what you do is you take this thing off. Obviously you feed your wire through so it comes out at the bottom, and then you can solder it here. So what it gives you is it gives you a connection that you can use. So let's say you want to test a component, and let's see if I can find any component on my desk. It seems like I can't, so I will be using this voltmeter. So essentially, let's say you want to give this some voltage. Now you don't want to solder this, so all you do is you hook it up like that, and now as you can see it's pretty secure. So let me do it again. As you can see, it's hooked up, electrical connection is established, and it's pretty isolated. Like if you put it on the desk, like I have a stainless steel desk now, but you shouldn't be able to short it out because it's just isolated. So I will be using this for like probing signals and stuff. These are really good, or just supplying power to chips or whatever. These are really versatile. So I have, as I said, 3 red and 3 black for positive and negative. So these are really good, and I will be using them in my future videos. So the next thing is these JST connectors, and what's the matter with them, and why are we having so many JST connectors? Well, it's kind of pretty simple, kind of not dealio here, and I'll tell you in a second. So pretty much, JST connectors are really cheap on eBay. Like you pay $1.50 for 10 of them. Now they come with wire. That's a first good thing. Second thing, they already have male and female connectors. So let's say I want to add a potentiometer to my project. So all I do is I take a 3 lead JST like this, and I solder it to my board, and I just solder, twist the wires nicely, and solder the other end to a potentiometer, and that's all you have to do to make your project really professional. So that is why I have 4 lead ones, and then I have the 3 lead ones. Now I do have a second set, and these I bought after I bought these. Now the problem with these is that it took 3 months to come, so I thought it wouldn't come, so I ordered some more after 1 month, and then this came, and then that came, so now I ended up having 2 sets of 4 and then 1 set of 3. It's not bad. Like, I'm still gonna use it, but it would be nice if it would have come in time. So yeah, I really recommend having something like this, really useful around the lab. So the next item is switches. I went crazy over switches, and I think I bought 20 of them, I'm pretty sure. So these are just round hall switches. Now there is a reason why I bought round hall, and I will never buy a square or rectangle hall switch again. The problem is very simple. You want to implement it into your project. Now you gotta cut a rectangular hole, which takes a lot of time. Now imagine if you have to do it in a 5mm sheet of aluminum. Well, now you're spending like half an hour or more on the hole. So that's just no good. So I just bought these. Now the thing with these round switches is all you gotta do is you drill a pilot hole where you want it to be, and then you just drill a big hole and you just put it in, and it looks really nice in your project. So bought a whole bunch of these. They were cheap. The reason they were cheap is most of these switches are different brands. Some of them doesn't even have a brand, but they all look the same. So yeah, go wonder. So the next item is really cool, and something I want to get for a long time, and I was taking this out from PCs and whatnot, but pretty much these are a brass M3 stands. So these are a hexagonal shape, so you can even screw one on top of the other and make it longer if you want to. But essentially, let's say you want to put a heatsink under your PCB. Now you have to elevate your PCB above the heatsink. Now you use these, so you drill a M3 hole, you put it inside, and then you can put your PCB on top. Now if you want to drill a 1, you can use 3, and that will get you the height, but you can also use 4 or whatever. These are really cool for all kinds of different projects, and I bought 100 of them since I'm planning to be using them practically everywhere. So I wanted these for a long time, so I finally bought them, and yeah. So the next item is for my Tesla coil, but I don't know if I will be doing this anymore. So pretty much I have these 10 brass balls, and the plan was to take them, drill a hole, and thread the inside, so we can thread this brass rod and have a discharge gap with brass balls, So I even bought the rods. I have these brass balls, but I don't know if I will be doing this anymore, because I went for a solid state Tesla coil, but I don't know, I'll see. Maybe I can use this for something else. But yeah, let me know if you have any good ideas of what I can use this for. Let me know down below. So the next item is really cool, and I wanted this for a long time as well, but I got scammed one time and I didn't buy it again, but this time I bought the proper stuff. I didn't cheap out. So if you know what I mean. It's always that feeling. You wanna do something and then you cheap out, and then you can't. You get something bad in mail. So this is, my friends, silicone 200C wire. Really flexible. These stuff are mostly used for RC cars. I mean, this wire is a 22 gauge, so this is something you would see on a JST connector for our RC LiPo battery to balance charge it. And this thicker wire is something you would see on a smaller LiPo pack going out as some power leads, but these are really flexible and really versatile. I mean, just look at it, like it's just like so easy to bend, you know what I mean? Like, look at it. It's really cool. And I have 10 meters of this red 22 gauge, 10 meters of black 22 gauge. I got 10 meters of 16 gauge black, okay, and obviously 10 meters of 16 gauge red. So I will be using these for alligator clips and whatnot. These small ones I can use for something else, like JST plugs for LiPos and whatnot. But yeah, the plan was to buy some and see like how it is, right? And then I can even buy like a 10 gauge or even like a higher gauge for power applications. But this wire is really good, and I will be using this in my lab pretty soon, since the wires I have right now for my alligator clips are so unflexible that it's just annoying. You put it on your breadboard and then it just falls off, so that's no good. So that's why we bought this one. So the next item is really cool, and obviously I already opened the packages. I just couldn't wait. So we have 3 of these boards. So let me focus closer on this and I'll show you what it is. So pretty much this board is a USB powered, or just 5 volts powered PWM controller, and I will be doing a closer review on this. But pretty much what it does is you have 2 sets of outputs which you are able to control frequency and duty cycle. So this is really handy, since we can do a whole lot of things. And I think I will be doing a box with the batteries in there, which I will be able to take this and have it battery powered, so I can output PWM and control it. This will be a really useful tool, and I think I might even put a MOSFET on there, so we could control higher currents and just have our signal a little bit more oomph. So essentially I bought 3, and yeah, these are really cool. So the next item is something I forgot to put on a table. Shame on me, since this is a really important one. This is something I've been telling you in the comments and in some of my videos. that I'm really waiting for, and this is a voltmeter, amp meter, power meter, amp hour meter, all of that together, LCD. So pretty much each unit looks like this. It's a two-board construction connected to the head pinners here. So you can see this is your typical 16 by 2 LCD display, so you can use this from anything you want. Now this board was, I think it was $8, and then altogether it was 10. So I thought it's just not worth of buying this separate for 50 cents cheaper. So I just bought it all together. Now this board here, you have a micro and something else, probably some logics or whatnot. So pretty much you got two modes. One shows your voltage, amps, wattage and resistance, and then the other one shows voltage, amperage, time, and ampere hours. So that is all cool. So each module is $10, as I said, and I will be using this in my power supplies. That is coming out soon. I just have to figure out how to make it work inside the power supply, because I want to do some changes to my bench power supply. So as I said, it will be coming out soon, and I will be using these modules really soon in my projects. But yeah, this will be a really good addition to any power supply for $10. You can't beat that price. So the next item had been sitting on the desk for a really long time, since the start of the video. Now I left this for last since I only bought two, and each unit is $20 Canadian. So what this is it's a 1200 watt boost converter. At least that's what they are claiming. Now we got no brand caps on here. We have two 15 amp fuses in parallel. We have two positives, two negatives on the input, and we have only one big terminal, positive and negative, on the output. So what's going on? Well, they claim a really big wattage out of this thing. I hadn't tested it yet, but pretty much all I know is that it pulls more than 380 watts, since my power supply trips out on this thing. So I couldn't measure the current, since I can only go up to 20 amps. So I can't really measure that because the power supply would trip anyway. And it is pretty stable. You have your low voltage cutoff in case you want to drive it off a battery. You have your current, constant current adjustment, and you have your voltage adjustment here. So if your voltage is set higher and the current doesn't let the voltage go, it goes to constant current mode. But when the load decreases, the voltage will go up to the set value. That is really handy. And I did buy separate potentiometers for this exact unit, so I could have a 10-turn potentiometer with the dial, special dial. I don't have it here. I actually should, but it's somewhere, and I just don't have time to look for it. But I'll show it to you soon when I review this thing. And pretty much, you have a lot of features here that are really cool. It has all kinds of things: overcurrent protection, under voltage protection, and blah blah. So it will output 80 volts DC, and it can take from I believe 8 to 60 volts on the input. So that is pretty cool. Obviously the higher the voltage, the better, since you will be getting higher power through the thing. But yeah, it only has one MOSFET. Maybe you can see it right there, the big one right there, one MOSFET. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it performs when I test it to its full capacity, but as I said, I was only able to pull like 350 watts, let's say, from this thing, and it was getting warm. It wasn't getting hot, it was getting warm. And yeah, I will be using this for a power supply, so I'm telling you right now, I will be using this for a power supply. Now the output capacitance has to change, it's just too low. We only have 1500, actually 1430 microfarads there, so that's a little bit too low for a boost converter of this scale. But yeah, I have another one packaged here, still in the new, still in the packaging. I don't know, opened it yet because it's waiting for its time. But yeah. So guys, that's it for this video. You all know what to do. Like, share and subscribe, so you will know when a new video comes out. And yeah, stay tuned for more content. I mean, we're gonna have a really fun time with these new things, because it's a lot of potential videos I can make, for your entertainment and for my pleasure. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. I just can't wait to use this thing, I'm gonna be honest with you, because this is gonna be like a 1000 watt dual rail power supply, bench power supply. I think I'm going crazy with this, but I don't know. Yeah.